Time to circle back to some of the tech stocks that have melted down over the past couple of months. Take Skyworks Solutions, long a favorite, SWKS, maker of radio frequency chips found in all sorts of devices, but especially smartphones. In late January, Skyworks reported a true blowout quarter, phenomenal guidance. I kept telling you it was one of the winners from the 5G wireless build-out. Then the coronavirus pandemic got going, first in China, where Skyworks has a major presence because of the Chinese manufacture of a lot of phones. Then the stock got hit even harder when the virus spread all over the world. Wall Street realized the 5G cycle would be delayed as we head into a global recession. About 3 weeks ago, Skyworks bit the bullet, lowered its forecast for the next quarter, giving us a 5 to 6% revenue haircut and 8% earnings haircut. Now things always get worse because after today's rebound, the stock is still down 32% from the highs. So you got to question, is that an overreaction given the fact that some stocks like a Boeing are up gigantically on just any good news? Let's take a closer look with Liam Griffin. He's the president and CEO of Skyworks Solutions. Get a better read on how his company's handling this difficult new era. Mr. Griffin, welcome back to Mad Money.
Thanks, Jim. Great to talk with you today. Too bad we couldn't talk in person, but hey, it's the stay-at-home world.
Yes, it sure is a stay-at-home world, which brings me immediately to Skyworks. We've all been Zooming. We've all been doing these kinds of collaborative work. And people keep asking me, well, what would matter? Why do we even need 5G? I have seen more herky-jerky Super 8 film like when I was a boy in 1964. And I got to wonder, if we got 5G, whether Zoom would actually look like real photos and not this craziness that we have now.
100% agree. I mean, you and I talked about the digital traffic jam 3 or 4 years ago. And at that time, we talked about the networks being compressed and taxed and digitally clogged. And we're seeing this today. I mean, it's great that we're seeing the network interfaces and the data traffic and the ability to do what we're doing, but we're nowhere near where we're headed. We've got a long way to go in 5G. We've got incredible Wi-Fi technologies coming. And I think this coronavirus situation is very difficult. It is a challenge. It's a big deal. But I think the technologies that we're working on in our ecosystem, with partners like Verizon and infrastructure players, and even the Chinese. We're all coming together to make this work, but it's a real indication of how necessary these applications are to the economy.
You know, it's funny. I was trying to figure out, you were always telling me, Jim, 5G, 5G, 5G. I remember before we had high def, we never knew that our picture wasn't any good. We would watch the Eagles beat the Patriots, right? And sure enough, what would happen is it would look terrific. And then suddenly we got HD. And now if we see the old days, we're like, is that what we were watching? It seems to me that the switch from that way to HD is not nearly as important as from what now we have to 5G.
Yeah, that is it. And, the fact is, as much as 5G is going to be tremendous, and it's going to bring an amazing architectural shift to our economy and to our markets in general. But it's still not here. It is here in certain areas, Jim. The rollout has been somewhat delayed here due to coronavirus, but we're going to see a bigger uptick in the second half. We're working with the marquee companies, largely U.S., China, going into Europe, and we're seeing some great technologies. They're going to launch. It's just delayed right now, and I think that's where we're going to see the quality, the experience, the bandwidth upside that we've been talking about. And that will happen.
Well, it's fun. I've been trying to figure out, with this huge rally today, what really has staying power? And the answer is something that has secular growth. There are a lot of stocks today, whether they be minerals, whether they be oil stocks, a lot of the stocks that involve machinery. Those, when they report, will be what you had to do, you pre-announced. And we're going to try to figure out whether we should still own them. Yes, maybe we get lucky and we have a Nike, which did well. But I think everyone's going to disappoint. So then you have to say, who is just delayed? And that there's a promised land. To me, 5G may be unbelievable in the second half of this year, and in 2021, it's ineluctable. It's unstoppable. Most people do not have giant waves to surf on. I have to believe that 5G is not a 6-month phenomenon.
It absolutely is not. This is a multi-year thematic move. And the interesting thing right now is that, people today are clamoring to get the technology. The issue that we have on what manifests in the demand weakness is really come about by a supply shock, Jim. It's the supply chain in Asia and other parts of the world where folks couldn't go to their factories and work, and it creates a delay. But we don't think it's perishable. We think this 5G technology is absolutely going to launch, And some of that demand that did not get executed in our Q1 or our Q2 will move forward into the back half of 2020 and certainly into 2021. So we see this as a pause more than a complete deep dive in V. So we think things will come back.
Well, we are getting reports from Kevin Johnson, CEO of Starbucks, where business is almost entirely back to normal. We had some good news about Nike saying, look, China's really starting to do well. I have to believe if we were some of your factories in Skyworks in non-Wuhan, or maybe even Wuhan, that we would starting to see many people come back to work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And fortunately for Skyworks, we got a great team. We've got 7,000 people deployed globally that are doing a great job today. But a lot of our stuff is here in the U.S. We have gallium arsenide fabs in the West Coast. We have fabs in Boston making this happen. And the reason why that's important is it really shortens that supply chain. And it allows Skyworks to do some things that are very different and very unique. We have a platform approach. So when we address 5G, it's a Sky 5 platform that can be very different for each customer, configurable, crafted. You can't do that if you don't own your own factory. So in a world where the data is moving around and we see bits and bytes, hardware at both ends, at the transmit and the receive side, is really critical. So we're focusing on that, and we think the opportunity is going to continue to grow.
Now, we had Verizon on last week. We know that a lot of the Chinese phone companies are back in business. Where are we with cell phones? Is that just going to be a very big goalie, and you're going to have to take a lot of pain if you want to wait to when they come back?
Yeah, you know what I think, and I saw the Verizon gentleman, the CEO, on your show, and he's talking about a 20% upside in data traffic. Vodafone just announced a 50% increase in data traffic. So if you look at how this works, the smartphone is kind of that's your quarterback. That's your quarterback. They're doing a lot of the work. But think about this IoT space, right? Machine to machine, autonomous driving, security, all these interesting applications that are really emerging through 4G, 5G, and higher speed Wi-Fi. It's creating a new experience. And if we look at what we're doing with the young people today, the millennials, I got 3 kids. They're all FaceTiming here behind me. Right. And it's just a whole new world. But in a way, I think there's some real positive thematic changes that we can capitalize once we get through this challenge with coronavirus.
Well, I'm absolutely certain that Skyworks is maybe, as we've been saying over and over again, the single best way to invest in this long-term theme. That's why, Liam, I'm so glad to see you. That's Liam Griffin. He's the president and CEO of Skyworks Solutions, long a fave from when it was 5. Good to see you, sir.
Thanks so much, Jim. Take care. Be safe.
Mad Money is back after the break.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.